I have had a range of experience in the music industry. I started off on tour. I'm a roadie. And from there, I started to build my network. I met an amazing man, David Enthoven, who was Brian Ferry's manager at the time, and he offered me a job working with him at his management company, IE Music. I proved my value. I was really efficient. I reinvented their systems, and they said to me, the next artist that walks through the door is yours to manage, and that was Robbie Williams. So I was Robbie's personal manager for 4 years. During that time, I had 2 children, 2 daughters, and felt I couldn't tour as much, so ended up as director at IE Music, looking after a lot of the audiovisual events, special events. From then, I set up a label for Damien Hirst for a couple of years. More recently, I've been doing and running events in the UK around my hometown of Bristol. I work at Glastonbury. So I've had a bit of a portfolio career, I guess. And more recently, I've been teaching the music business to degree students in Bristol. I think a manager's role is to manage an artist's expectations and teach your artist to be patient. I believe that you need to build a really strong foundation if you want a long career in the music industry, and that strong foundation needs to be built through the constant creation of music, live shows, just constantly working towards your goal. And it's really important to have a strategy, a long-term strategy rather than short-term goals. But I think jump-starting a career is really difficult in this era. I think it's a case of building a really strong foundation. I think for managing emerging artists, one of the challenges is how to stand out in a very, very overcrowded marketplace. So the world of social media is full of bands, full of music. Streaming platforms have so much music on them. It's how to really stand out, how to raise your head above the parapet. So that's a challenge for artists and their managers. If you're managing more established artists, it's about keeping them healthy. I think that something that's become more evident recently is that an artist's mental health is really fragile and can be really fragile because they don't know where the next money's coming from. They're under increasing pressure to produce an album that is as good as or better than their last album. And if they don't produce that, then they have to deal with the fallout that brings. And that can really play havoc on an artist's mental health. When I talk to my students about income streams for emerging artists, I often refer to the rivers of pennies or the trickles of pennies that come in. As a manager, I think we have to consider our artists as a business with multiple revenue streams, and we have to maximise those revenue streams. Obviously, you get small amounts of money from streaming income, small amounts of money from physical sales, from ticket sales, from merchandise, but it's all small amounts of money that can come in and can sustain a career, but it's up to a manager to be aware of all those potential income streams. I think it's really important for artists to learn and perfect their live performance, and they should build their fan base in their hometown, practice, become better at what you do. It's a real challenge now, certainly in the UK, but I think across many areas in Europe and the US, in that small grassroots music venues are closing down. So it means the opportunities for emerging artists to play live are diminishing. So this, for me, is the real challenge facing emerging artists. Live music is really important, and you only have to look at the income that comes in for the large artists, and you see how much income can be made from the live sector. So it's a really important part of an artist's career. there aren't many opportunities for young people to play musical instruments in school. So that talent pool that's coming through tends to be the more middle class, high income families, because certainly in UK schools, the opportunity to play instruments just aren't there anymore. So I'd like to see more opportunities, not for teenagers, but for really young people, young children, to be able to pick up a musical instrument, play piano, play guitar. The lower income families are finding it increasingly difficult to afford that. So what it means is that the music that's emerging in the market now is becoming a little bit more homogenised. There's a lack of diversity, which I think will impact on the music industry in the future.